Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their new books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the upcoming Star Wars TV shows and movies that are being developed by George, John, Dave, and other creators coming on board to really help propel Star Wars in a better path in a more positive sense. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new universe between, of course, all of these different creators, of course, including Peyton Reed, we have him coming on board too, is that they really are borrowing a lot of fan-favorite elements from Star Wars Legends, and everything related to what has happened in the books and the comics, and how they're going to find ways to throw that into live-action form. Now that brings us to where we are standing today, and exactly what Favreau and Filoni have been up to. We already know that they're working heavily on Mando Season 4, Book of Boba Fett Season 2, the Bo-Katan series, and a whole lot more on the horizon that's going to be announced at next year's Celebration event, as well as, of course, D23. Now, the biggest question of all has a lot to do with one particular project that has been in limbo for a very long time, and what Favreau had to say about canceling said project, and exactly why the project met its cancellation. Now, as you all know, Favreau and Filoni are now pretty much in control of the entirety of the roadmap, except for Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte. That's all being done by Kathleen Kennedy. They have no control over that. However, that brings us to the major piece about all of this, is that, of course, with both Favreau and Filoni greatly involved with many of the upcoming Star Wars projects, Disney executives are getting ready to do some pretty big things with Star Wars. However, just recently, Jon Favreau opened up about why he recently finalized the cancellation of one of his upcoming Star Wars TV shows that has been in the works for so very long that eventually fell into limbo. Now, Favreau went on to state the following to the fans. Well, you see, with Rangers of the New Republic, we had all these great ideas to really focus in on some of those characters that fans grew up with, like Luke, Han, Leia, 3PO, R2-D2, and Chewbacca, and more, and what their lives were going to be like days after Return of the Jedi, leading up to 1 year. We had looked at the Aftermath books and novels as well to inspire ourselves to tell a great story, but the problem at the time was that after Gina had left, and other actors and other cast members of the crew that no longer wanted to be a part of the show after Gina actually departed, it was hard for us to tell a full story of Luke, Han, and Leia on a lower budget. So, let's just make things clear here. The main reason as to why the show fell apart and got cancelled is because John and Dave, no matter how much they tried, they could not get the show at the time to be a higher budget. Now, this is, by the way, before Kathleen Kennedy had lost her creative power, before John and Dave got those big-time promotions over at Lucasfilm, and it also is a lot related to what actually Kathleen Kennedy was in control of when it came to the budgeting of these Star Wars shows. So this one in particular, alright, was going to feature Luke, Han, and Leia, the droids, and even Chewbacca to a degree, alright? It wasn't going to be the main focus, but they were going to be in there quite a bit. And they were going to have some kind of great technology to bring them back to life, essentially, just how they were in the original trilogy. Now, the problem lied with the budget, and they were completely limited to what they were actually, led to deal with. Now, we're not quite sure how much Disney was giving them for Rangers at the time. We're not really quite sure, but it was nowhere near as much as The Mandalorian, and that really does speak volumes. That does limit to what you could do with de-aging technology or, the proper deepfake technology for extended periods. I just don't know how Disney couldn't just raise the budget a little bit so that they could utilize that technology and really make something truly spectacular. Now, a lot of this, though, at no surprise, really had nothing to do with Disney. It had a lot to do with Kathleen Kennedy, and Jon Favreau actually explains about all of this, of exactly how it involved Kathleen Kennedy that led to the cancellation and led to further problems. So, alright, he goes on to say, it was hard for us to tell a full story of Luke, Han, and Leia on a lower budget. So we had asked at the time if Kathleen Kennedy could get Disney to approve to give us a higher budget for the series, and she felt that it was completely unnecessary to even pursue that, and even this project. We tried to find ways that we could get around this show to work, but Kathy didn't want to offer support on the budget-wise, of course, and creatively, which really was soul-crushing to myself and Dave, which is why we canceled the show and are now happily taking moments from that show and putting them into others. So the spirit of this project will live on, which is something that I am proud of. Now, the thing about Favreau, before I get to the next big thing here, is that Favreau is a guy that really cares about the fandom. He cares about the Legends universe. He cares about all of those great characters that you grew up with. You know, Luke, Han, Leia, the original trilogy characters, right? And to just imagine what somebody would be going through like this, to have a project that was going to re-establish that original trilogy magic and feel with George Lucas endorsing the show and really kind of giving it the thumbs up, I think that this show could have hands down be one of the best if it made production. Now, what they're doing now, though, thankfully, is that they're taking key moments from Rangers and they're going to throw it in the Mandoverse projects. So you could very well see those Luke and Han Leia moments in the Mandalorian season whatever, right? Depending on how far they want to go. And Jon Favreau, by the way, openly said that he is planning to go up to a season 6 of Mandalorian if, and only if, Mando 4 proves to be successful. Alright? So there's a lot of boundaries, you know, if Mando 4 kind of underperforms, you might not see a season 5 and or 6. So the thing about this too, with Kathleen Kennedy, it doesn't surprise me at all, but she wanted nothing to do with even pursuing Disney, to actually ask Disney to give them the budget that John and Dave needed. She didn't even want to do that. John and Dave could not get through to Disney directly without Kathleen Kennedy's assistance at the time, and so it was really frustrating to them, and that's why they canceled it. But the smart thing that they did, like I say, they're taking the best parts of that show and putting it into other shows, scattered. And that, I think, is the best move probably that they did. I really do believe that, because I think now the entirety of the Mandoverse is going to really get that original trilogy tone and feel, and what George Lucas had endorsed with, of course, the Rangers TV show. So it's very sad, though, that we never got to see this, and it's never going to see the light of day. Of course, when Gina left, it only caused more problems. That was just the beginning. But anyways, guys, where we are right now, it's looking brighter every single day, and we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to Star Wars. 2023 is going to be a very big year, with 2024 being even bigger. Alright, so just think about that. So overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding from night to moon.